Hi, friends. Host Taylor and I are here, and we're going to talk a little bit about something special. Somebody sent me a link to this lady, and I don't really know to expect exactly because I sort of half watched it, half distracted, but it seemed interesting enough that I wanted to look at it again and make a video about it, and let's see what Taylor thinks as well. I think I can actually need his help in this one a bit in terms of deconstructing what's happening here. Alright, so let's start watching it at zero and proceed for a bit.
This episode by calling out the major shadow of those people who work in the mental health field. Nobody just wakes up one day and decides to be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a self-help expert, or a life coach with no provocation. We arrive at this place because of mental and emotional suffering ourselves. The way that we dealt with our suffering was to try to figure it all out. Most of us thought and felt things as a result of our own life experience that caused us to feel confusion and to doubt our own sanity, and so we needed to secure our own sanity, find out the truth, and get firmly grounded in reality. Knowing the what and the why helps us to feel grounded in that reality and in that sanity that we reached for like a buoy in the middle of a sea that was trying to drown us. And we try to rescue ourselves through others by helping everyone we come into contact with to find that buoy. We help people to come into that stable construct that we see as sanity and reality and truth. Even though some people in the mental health field will tell you that they got into this because of somebody else in their family who had issues, I can guarantee you that having somebody else in your family that had issues made you yourself feel confused and unstable, which is why you really had an interest in it. Trying to help everybody to find this buoy is a noble enough cause. The problem is that this very strategy which we use to help people can also be the very thing which does the most damage. And it can be the thing which prevents us from catalyzing genuine healing in somebody's life. When people come to us, we can very clearly see how what they're thinking, what they're saying, and what they're doing is out of alignment with the reality that we ourselves are seeing. Now, after putting years of study into it, we have arrived at what we think reality is. So, it's obvious to us, then, how what they're thinking, saying, and doing is out of alignment with objective reality, which we've already decided is our own. After all, our entire career is based off of having that truth and having that reality and knowing the answers. Therefore, we can easily see where the things that they are thinking, saying, and doing are out of alignment with what is right, true, and real. But this is where we go wrong. The way we try to help them is to get them, often in an oppositional way, to join our reality. I want you to imagine that all people live inside their own individual bubble. That bubble is their own subjective reality. And what people in the mental health field try to do is to get people to come out of their bubbles into our bubbles. The reason we want to do that is because it's obvious when being inside somebody's bubble, which is their subjective reality, is the thing that is causing them trauma and pain. But using this strategy, the attempt to get somebody into our bubble, is the very thing which makes healing impossible for us because of the following. 1, we are unwilling to accept that our subjective reality is not necessarily the objective reality. What objective reality is the amalgamation of every subjective reality. So if you added every individual perspective into one thing so that they were all combined, and the truth that arose out of those combined subjective realities would be the objective perspective. We all know the danger of mistaking our subjective reality with what objective reality looks like.
Alright, let me pause at 344, 345. Do you have any initial thoughts?
Yeah. I guess right off the bat, like your very first sentence kind of validates my suspicions. I mean, I've just kind of assumed the whole time that's how people get into this shit. I know, having gone through rehab a couple times, all of the drug counselors were former addicts. occasionally you get a bleeding heart INFP in there, but all the counselors were former addicts, and half the people that graduate are their life goal now is to become a drug addiction counselor. So the topic makes sense. The presentation's a little bit intense or something. I don't know.
It's obviously working for her. She's got over 500,000 subscribers. I don't like the initial thing she said is something I initially didn't like, which was the idea that people who want to provide any sort of, which she's included sort of therapists, life coaches, any of that kind of thing, that they want to help others because they come from their own pain and they believe they've found some resolution to it and want to share that resolution with others. I mean, I've done life coaching. People have paid me to do it. I didn't come from, it's not nothing to do with me coming from my pain and wanting to share my pain resolution with others.
Well, you've done life coaching. I mean, I've mentored people, but that's not the same as being a life coach, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, isn't typing people from any kind of like life coaching in a way?
No, I don't think so.
What about giving people a little hey? That's therapy.
I mean, the life coaching part could come after the typing pretty, naturally. But
Isn't entertaining
got
people
better.
therapy? Isn't entertaining people a form of therapy, Taylor?
It's the best form.
I think so. Let's let her continue a bit. But here's what I'm finding when I get to this new part. I'm sort of half agreeing with her and half disagreeing with her. So she's correct that everybody lives in their own individual reality, but she's saying that everybody's subjective realities combined comprise objective reality. Well, that's not true. There's a couple of different possible definitions of understanding objective reality, and neither of them, it seemed to be reasonable to me, have anything to do with combined subjective reality, except in the notion that obviously, well, in an interaction, for example, you and I might define pigs as trees, and then for objectively the conclusion of this argumentation will be predicated on that. That's consistent with objective reality in that context. It's not consistent with physical reality. So there's a failure to draw meaningful distinctions, I think, so far, but I don't disagree with everything she's saying.
You can't. I mean, a combined subjective reality is not actually a thing.
Right. It's not. There's no such thing as that. So that I have a problem with. But I kind of get where she's getting at, but she's not doing a good job of it. So let me let her continue. This really should be a debate police video, but, it's not, she's not really, I don't know. I like it being undefined a bit here.
We've all seen those movies. Movies like Powder, or K-Pax, or The Butterfly Effect, or The Secret Garden, or every movie featuring medieval medical practices where the person who is assisting someone's process towards health is so limited by what they've decided is real or true that they end up doing more damage. When you're watching these movies, you can clearly see how their subjective reality is limited as hell, and they don't actually have what's right and what's true. But they don't see that about themselves, do they? The sad truth is, it never occurs to any one of us that we might be that person. We have to be able to stretch ourselves far enough to accommodate for the reality that we may not be the one who is currently in the right and who currently has our finger or a pulse on what reality actually is, because none of us on this planet Earth, no matter who we are, can escape from the fact that we don't know what we don't know. 2.
Okay, I gotta stop it here. This is something that drives me insane. It makes me really mad. It's true we don't know what we don't know. And it's true that lots of people fail to account for unintended consequences and think their intentionality is enough. It's not true, however, that therefore we can't distinguish between wise and unwise courses, or logical or objective approaches and non-objective approaches, that we can't distinguish between things that withstand scrutiny and don't, that we can't distinguish between negative obligations and positive obligations. If she's failing to do so, then she's not saying anything meaningful. Thoughts?
I spent this whole last video clip trying to read the tattoo on her left forearm.
I see. Well, you could have some. Did you successfully read it?
It looks like you know the inside of the ring on Lord of the Rings, that little elvish writing. That's what it looks like.
It just says
It does not. It's way too long. Unless there's a shit ton of M's.
It says
Do you dislike this person?
No, I don't. I think that everything in this video is a bit too serious for me. Like, I think that her premise is right. It's like she takes a I don't know how to explain it.
I agree
but she takes a kernel of truth and pops way too much fucking popcorn out of it.
He's taking a kernel of truth and making popcorn out of it.
It looks like he was...
Wanging his wang?
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was making popcorn.
No,
That's
Taylor had been doing
obviously-
that a bit up here.
You know.
This is obviously how you make popcorn.
How do you know, Eric?
It's a joke, Kim. I have a piece of paper from Taylor saying he has the biggest dick. I just take it at its word.
He does have that.
I do. Okay, so, anyway, yeah, my feeling is with argumentational allies like this, who needs enemies? She's doing damage to the cause to the extent that she's right by making these terrible subjectivist collapse everything down to nothing semantics arguments that are bullshit. And they're self-defeating. Why should we listen to her then? If she's not right in any capacity. If there's no distinction to be made there. If we can't identify the frame and define things relatively to that at least so that they're absolute in their conclusions, then what's the fucking point? Anyway, let's push forward. I'm going to let her go on a bit more.
You don't like her, do you?
I don't like her at all. I strongly dislike this person.
We don't really understand parallel perceptual realities. Most of us only experience a parallel perceptual reality or the awareness of it when we go through something like grief. When we lose a loved one or something else happens that causes us grief, we're sort of in this parallel reality, aren't we? Our life stops. Time seems to stop for us. We can't feel happy. Our perspective about life is completely changing. And when we interact with people who aren't part of that reality of ours suddenly...
Stop using the royal we.
They're talking about their vacations. They're talking about how frustrated they are at their job. They're trying to get us to join them at the bar. And it's like
You're
we
faulting
may
her
as
for the
well be
royal
in two
we?
different realities, even though our bodies are occupying the
Let's
same
pause and
space.
stop a bit. I use the royal
Do you
we.
need to take a break?
Yeah, I stopped it right there because
You
I
want to...
gotta talk about the royal we. I use it too, but there are circumstances when it's appropriate and circumstances where it's not. If I say, look, we all have basic need to be accepted and feel loved or affirmed in some way, that's a fair usage of it. But what she's doing is ascribing ignorance to everybody. We all are subject to this lack of... We all are subject to this lack of metacognition. I'm not subject to it. You aren't subject to it. She apparently is.
Is you, me, or we at her disposal? We is the correct thing to use there.
No, because she's not. She doesn't mean we. She means y'all, not me.
She might mean we.
If in fact what she means.
She probably means y'all, but that's not effective therapist talk.
But look, if she really means what she's saying, then where's the wisdom in any of this? She's collapsing everything down to equivalencies that can't be distinguished between, and saying, well, we're all limited into our exact perspectives and can do no meaningful metacognition out of it. Are you saying you've done none? Then why are you telling us about it? And where did you get this idea from? Or are you just including yourself as a sort of gesture of goodwill to us peons who don't understand?
If you read down the comments, I actually think it says host Eric with a little asterisk. She's actually just talking about you. She's
that's
not talking
much
about
better.
me.
I like that much better because then I can address it directly. I can say, okay, good, thank you for making a real argument instead of a bunch of fucking profoundish things.
She is a little bit profoundish.
Yeah. All right, let's let her continue. Sorry, I only gave her 10 seconds last time.
The worst part is, they don't even notice. because people don't often notice what conflicts with their own personal reality. When we talk or interact with somebody from inside our own bubble, our own perceptual reality, we may think we're doing and saying things that will help them when in fact we're just proving to them that we don't see them, we don't hear them, we don't feel them, we don't understand them at all, and they're completely alone.
550. I want to stress here, Teal Swan, I'm not trying to help you at all, okay? I'm trying to have you incur the natural consequences of your fucking shitty attitude, your smug self-importance, and your thorough commitment to saying nothing, okay?
I'm not nearly so condemning.
So, just to be clear, I'm not accidentally busting your chops by trying to help you. I'm intentionally busting your chops. It probably will help you a lot more than me trying to help you because it's an honest consequence of your own shitty behavior. Let me let this continue a little longer. Go ahead, if you got something to say. Okay.
I think you've said it all.
You're reinforcing that they have a different reality and that they are alone in it. What we
Yeah,
do
and
instead
your
comes
reality is
across as
stupid and shitty.
invalidation and ignorance. And we make the mistake of thinking it is good to invalidate someone's reality if it's causing them pain, but all this does
good to invalidate
is
your reality because it's causing
their
me pain,
reality. In
bitch.
fact, we fail to establish rapport enough to say or do something that will actually change their reality, or should I
I'm
say,
doing something to
make
change
it
your
harder
reality
enough
right
to
now.
accommodate other realities
Shove my
in the
foot up
world
your
that's
ass.
causing them pain. This is why we do so much damage to people who are mentally ill. When we approach them from inside our own bubble reality, what we're doing is making them feel more and more and more and more crazy and more and more and more and more alone until their condition, in fact, escalates. For example, let's say that you tell a paranoid schizophrenic
Because, wait,
that their
hold on there,
reality isn't real.
Teal. Hold on there. So nobody can be accountable for anything? Is it just my subjective reality trying to force it into my bubble? No. It's me telling you that your imaginary nonsense that you're spewing is imaginary nonsense, okay? Nobody's telling schizophrenic people, hey, you just need to stop believing in that fucking hallucination. Nobody's saying that to them. I am saying to you, you need to stop believing your own delusional bullshit. But it's not because you're mentally ill, it's because you're fucking stupid.
What's happening in your reality, host Eric?
This bitch is pissing me off. And incurring the natural consequence of that?
Do you think that you're pushing back into her reality?
Probably. The thing is, my bubble's filled with knives. And her bubble is all soft and juicy. So she can get stabbed by my knife bubble. How about that? And you know what? Uh-oh. Did I hurt your feelings? Good. You deserve to have them hurt because you're out there spewing fucking garbage.
I think that this is her reality and these are your reality, and she's doing like this to you.
No. I mean, the thing is, I watched this video for the first time right now, and I'm delivering my honest consequence, which is, I'm going to just tell her straight up, your shit's dumb as fucking dirt. There's nothing to it. You don't explain anything. You're trying to mush shit out inappropriately. You're trying to sound profound. You're not accomplishing anything. You're not saying anything. So, does her reality bother me? Yeah. Why? Because it's fundamentally wrong. That's why. Not subjectively wrong. We can use objective calculate. You know why, lady? We're both using the language. We can make claims and substantiate them. You seem to think that's just all a waste of time. Well, why don't you go back to your pain now? Okay, remember where you came from, your pain? I want you to revisit there and just sit in it for a while. This is the pain that you're feeling. It's called shame and anxiety because Eric's got your wrongness in the grip of his hands and he's squeezing it. Dumb bitch.
Does Kim like her?
Kim, do you like that lady?
Eric doesn't.
Eric doesn't. That's for sure.
You better not say yes. You better fucking not.
I don't care. She could like her. I don't care. I mean, you know, it's like she could. I'm sure she obviously tricks a lot of people. She got 500,000 subscribers, so Kim wouldn't be alone if she liked her. I'm not interested in you. I congratulate you on your success, lady. I hope someday you watch this video I'm not interested in doing anything except making sure that you feel the weight of the condemnation here, and how accurate it is, and how wrong you are, and how shameful it is that you failed to substantiate what are some fundamentally good concepts underlying those things. You've become an enemy of good concepts by doing such a poor job of advocating for them.
I will never make a YouTube channel.
Shame on you. So, the end.
Are you gonna?
Fuck that bitch. That's horrible.